All right, everybody. Good evening. All of us are pretty much. I can see all of us are honored to be meeting someone as great as Gangaraju Garu. So thank you so much for inviting us to your office here. It's a big
It's
honor.
my pleasure. I'm happy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, all of you.
Right. So today we will be talking about an amazing book, Vihangam. As multiple people that I know personally have quoted it as the Atlas Shrugged of India. So it's a great book that it's a great read for Indian audience. Anyone between the age of, let's say, 15 to 35, I'd say, like, amazing book that will really give you an understanding about how public policy should actually work for our country. Right. So to start with, I very much loved the way you started this book. First by quoting a few great authors, but also dedicating the book to your mother, right? And I myself, believe that despite being in a lower middle class family, I would say, how I got attracted towards the ideas of liberalism, classical liberalism, or free markets as such, was because of my own parents.
Right.
Their indefatigable efforts to uplift life as such, standard of living as such. So,
And that's the standard for all middle class. All of us who came through that, we know it's a never-ending thing. Trying
Ex-
to do better for your kids, actually.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. So, what was it like for you when you grew up in your household?
My mother was everything. She didn't go to school, but she had read, I mean, Ganga to Volga and translation, all these
Wonderful.
things. She read Rahul Sankrityayan. She read all this. So she was educated, not schooled.
Right, yes.
And the stories of Mahabharata and Ramayana, she would narrate every bedtime story was one little story from Mahabharata that went on for years. She knew everything from memory. So even now she tells my grandkids
Okay.
Mahabharata.
Oh, that's wonderful. I can very well relate that to my own father, who used to have these big stories, and then I couldn't sleep without, hearing him. Right. Um, okay, starting with the book's inner content, like, something that I thought, I believe, like, we as Indians or Desi log as such, one of the reasons why our political system is so much into freebies, isn't that a cultural problem for us? Like, aren't we as a civilization so much dependent on these freebies, and that's why politicians are, attracted to do that to win elections.
You think so? I don't know. Like culture, when does it start? With British India, with Mughal,
I would say,
or
I'd say post,
Harappan, Mohenjo-daro? No, when?
I'd say post-independence culture. That's what, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think we had so many freebies then, did we?
Starting 1970s
No?
onwards, I believe.
Yeah, that is a good 25, 30 years after independence. So when Indira Gandhi came, that
Yeah, from almost Indira
yeah,
Gandhi's time onwards.
then poverty became one of the biggest businesses.
And that's
Because as long as there are poor people, they'd be in business. And you'd be poor if you're always dependent on someone, not
right,
because you had less money.
right. Um, moving forward, so to tackle this, that's one of the main issues that the government, I mean, the society itself in India is facing at this moment. So to tackle that kind of issue of freebie system, where every politician, I mean, you look at Tamil Nadu election right now, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, um, Mizoram, I guess, no, Assam, and
Assam.
Pondicherry, they're all going for elections, and the amount of freebies being offered is way too much. Even in Kerala, first time, I think, like, way too many freebies by both the left and the Congress led yeah, alliances. So one way in which you are suggesting over here is to, go and fight these freebies by suing against people in charge, right? There are examples where you are quoting that even a nun files for refund of sales tax. What was that inspiration for this? Like, where did
No,
this come
in Telangana or other states also, they give free Mangal Sutra
from?
or some, they call it Mahalakshmi, whatever. Why is a lifelong celibate supposed to pay that
Pay for
tax?
that.
Who on principle doesn't marry for someone getting married?
Right. So, do you think in some of the Western countries, it's quite common to sue against the city or the state for even for like if there's a bad road, like potholes in the road, it's quite sure that people are going to sue. But in India, I don't think that's like really a, a norm as such. But maybe we as a as a cultural movement, do you think we should push this,
Yeah,
suing
I
the
mean, it's so
government?
difficult in India going to court. I think in one of the points when Vani says she'll start just law,
Yeah, just
so
law
there, I don't know, 3 million cases pending or 3 crore cases
cases.
pending. So where does your pothole get into there?
That's definitely a thing, right? Right. Moving forward with matters related to the environment, um, we heard that when Wahini was being a big success, Wahini as in an application that similar to Uber back in the 2010s, so that it was becoming according in the story it was becoming a big success. It was like everybody wanted Wahini as their to use Wahini, and even people across India were signing up to be drivers for Wahini because it had not it is very easy to sign up, drive, or make money, as well as for customers to use it. Um, one of the things that you are trying to portray over here is yeah. So with any innovation, it's quite common that a, a, a trade-off between an innovation and some damage to the environment.
Mhm.
That's quite common to happen. In this, they're just simply going ahead, in the book in the story. They're simply going ahead like some bad elements are going ahead and attacking Wahini and the innovation that Wahini is bringing in as a damage to the environment, like outright. Just saying that, let's say Uber is like damage to the environment. Um, how do you think we should approach such people or movements for
No,
any innovation?
actually, environment is only one of the points that's brought out against it.
It is.
The other is that there's no regulation and these people will go and do what they want, charge what they want.
Yes.
Market decides the price. And unions don't have the power now. They are losing their
Grip.
rental,
Yeah.
rent seeking people. So that was the more important thing. That's why the trade union guys break the
Break the
cars.
car.
It
And
happened in Hyderabad.
oh, that
There's,
same incident happened.
I mean, not
A similar
breaking the
incident
cars
happened
or someone going into coma, but there were high stations.
on Uber or Ola.
Uber, Ola,
Both Uber and Ola.
yeah.
It happened.
It happens with anything, auto rickshaw union, taxi union. It's all. Why here, New York, you know how much a taxi medallion costs? $1 million?
The yellow caps,
You
right?
just can't go and get a taxi license. You're talking of India. Here, the various Shamsuddins do that. His name is Shamsuddin.
Yeah, in this,
They are
yeah,
that.
the
Even
union.
you check up a name of an auto rickshaw union who's always. And he's what? He's fighting for the consumer. Ah,
That's what he says.
yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone says that.
right. I can see that there was a question related to that in from the audience itself.
So I had two basic questions back in my mind. Was that this story is set in the early 2010s, right?
Hmm.
But we are living in the present 2026. And recently, back few months, we started the mainstream general public started discussing the capitalistic nature of apps like Ola, Uber, Zomato, Swiggy, and how they are somewhat, you can say, exploitive of nature. And do you think, like, eventually I got to know from Anushka that the main character in this book, he ends up, from becoming such a big shot, he ends up losing everything. So, do you think you are predicting the future of like the next 15 years? Like, this is what the future is going to be for all those CEOs who are running these big companies and apps?
No, you haven't read. I won't do things like that. First of all, I don't believe in this so-called capitalistic exploiting. That's wool over our eyes,
Hmm.
which commies and socialists use to put us all under their thumb, thinking they're doing something noble. Everyone out there, capitalism means free enterprise for me. The market decides what price anything should be. So, what's wrong about Uber or Ola?
Hmm.
In fact, it gives the freedom for the driver to be his own boss. He doesn't work. His hours he dictates. Not just in the book, that's what Uber does. If he doesn't want to work that day, he switches off his app. And if he wants to work for more than one aggregator, he can do for Rapido, he can do for Uber, Ola.
So in the book, there's a area where one of the ways in which Vahani was being um, negatively portrayed was because Vahani was charging something similar to surge charges
Yeah,
or
search.
surge charges, right? And then that was being said by people in the including the minister of transport, saying that this is exploiting the customers, right? And a great response comes from AAA, saying that about the surge charges.
Charges.
Please realize it's emergencies. Please realize in emergencies, the choice is between low cost service, is not between low cost service and pricey service. In emergencies, the choice is actually between no service and pricey service, right? So that alone is a great way to actually talk about the greatness of these apps. If you're like, let's say there's a rainy day, all of a sudden, how do you get an auto rickshaw? No, you can't get an auto rickshaw. You can't get a normal cab. Or if you want to get a normal cab, you have to call someone and wait for all that time. You're gonna wait in the rain, get drenched, and then pay excessive amount to that person. Instead, you have ease of convenience right in front of you, as Uber, Ola, Rapido, whatever name you want to call, or Wahini as being discussed over here. And that choice is between no service and pricey service. Now that brings a very similar thing that happened recently, which I was discussing with everybody here. Recently, we had a Indigo blackout.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, everybody else was. I mean, yeah, as a for-profit company, they're not-profit companies. They're for-profit companies. They hike up their prices, right? Air India had 8,000 rupees thing became 24, 25,000, even including SpiceJet or these smaller airlines, regional airlines. They also did the same thing. I think even government run airline, the airlines have also hiked their prices. My argument that I was saying to or most of them were that was not just a commercial thing to do, but also a moral thing to do. And I was saying, can anybody describe about it? So I think
So, no, I didn't get. You're saying that increasing a price is not just a commercial, it's a immoral thing.
it's a moral thing.
Moral thing,
It's a
okay.
moral thing that
Yeah.
actually happened. Do you agree with
I mean,
that?
there's no other way anyone can decide a price. If all your 543 guys in parliament, all your crore and odd super secretaries in the government were all Isaac Newtons and Einstein, still they won't know.
Yeah.
Price is decided by millions and billions of transactions between individuals. If I'm thirsty today and you're not, I'll pay more for a bottle of water. It's as simple as that. No, when Fukushima happened, they said, oh,
Yeah.
each water bottle is going to $100. Suppose it wasn't that. It's sold at the same price. Like this petrol pump you see today. There's no panic, but they go and fill up the tank, crowding out. So people will go and buy all the water bottles available if it's available for only 10 rupees. Suppose that becomes, and no one else will, extra supply won't come in. There's no attraction. Suppose that becomes 1,000 rupees. You'll see truckloads coming in, suddenly prices will drop. The solution resides in the problem itself. But you're exacerbating the problem by putting controls.
True.
Same thing about Uber or anything.
That's true. Yeah, even these days, I think Instamart and Blinkit, they all also have Zepto. They all have surge charge, right? Yeah,
And also it tells you to, if it's not that urgent, if it's just an impulse, you can postpone it.
exactly.
That trip. Emergency, yes, you will. Emergency, you'll go donate blood also. But you won't keep doing it every day now. See, sorry, just on
Yes,
this.
yes.
Don't equate the theory of emergencies to your day-to-day living. That's wrong. In Sanskrit, Telugu, it's called apad dharma. What works because there's a tornado or something happened, you'll help, you'll give out everything. That doesn't mean every day you go giving blankets and all around, all year round. So don't equate that with this.
All right. Moving forward, sir. So there was a question that is being asked towards Vihang, say encouraging him to start a political party, right? And then of course saying that he doesn't have to worry about funds and all, and then that this big lobby led by Reena's team will take care of all that stuff, and then he just have to go ahead and start a political party because he's already now built a momentum by then. Just building on that, have you ever thought about? I'm not sure if this is a politically correct question to ask, but have you ever thought about
There's nothing politically incorrect with me.
Okay.
After writing that, which the blurb itself says that.
Yes, exactly. Pardon my
Yeah.
tone. Yeah. So, have you ever thought about? Firstly, I think the history of political parties, like free market or classical liberal political parties. So, how much do you think we should actually teach the next generation about the history of India's original political classical liberal political parties like Swatantrata Party, or even in Andhra and Telangana, to an extent, there's a party called the Lok Satta Party. I'm not sure how much they still are relevant. What is your opinion on back the Swatantrata Party back then and even the Lok Satta Party back today? And then there's also Swarna Bharat Party in Rajasthan, Maharashtra.
No, obviously, first of all, you started off saying, should people know about the history of politics? Of course they should. Because fortunately or unfortunately, government shouldn't be controlling so much of our life.
That's true.
But since they are, then the only way out is know the politics involved. At least you choose the best of two bad people.
Yeah.
There's nothing else, because any party wants the same thing. They want power, control over you.
True.
And the very path leading to power, you're mudding your feet, hands, everything. You have to give your freebies. You have to say this, I'll give extra for this section, that. Now, after you reach the throne, you're already muddied. You can't be sullied totally.
Right.
Actually, I was thinking, sorry, off a tangent.
No, it's okay.
You said where you politics and all. I know about Swatantrata Party. Yeah, there's a slight personal equation also, and Lok Satta. Suddenly it struck me, after writing this. Always it's great to have a party saying no subsidies, nothing and all. Then I thought, first thing is there should be a party called Zero Party. Shunyam. We gave the world the most powerful numerical in the world. Shunya. Zero Party. The first line in the manifesto will be, we never will aspire for power. We will not contest an election. So then you have the power to say anything. No reservations, no this, no subsidies. I have nothing to lose. I want 0 votes. But you'll become, if this is big enough, you'll become the strongest opposition, which unfortunately the funny guys around aren't an opposition. You need a strong opposition. Suppose a Zero Party becomes the strongest opposition. All the ideas are pulled in, and they're not talking personalities. They won't take the name of Modi, Rahul, nothing, nonsense. They only go on principles. This subsidy is wrong for these reasons. This is what it actually costs. That becomes the greatest opposition party that will never sit in power or in parliament. Just a theory like that, I thought. Zero, Shunyam, Sanghatana.
Then the question is who will fund them, because people fund
I
because
don't know, crowdfunding. So no one is actually a member. 0 members also is one. They can be only supporters.
Interesting thought. So yeah, what he said earlier that choose the least evil among the whatever evil. I think it was just John Locke who said that a government is but a necessary evil. I mean that itself is necessary, but yeah. Right. So moving on. Have you ever thought about starting anything in that regard, like a party, like you just mentioned about zero?
I wouldn't be a member of any party. Then that's when they struck me. Shunya, no member party,
No
zero
member
party.
party.
No, I knew Swatantrata Party because when I was very young, maybe 7 years old, an uncle of mine
Oh,
was youngest candidate standing for MP from Andhra Pradesh, where Rajgopalachari also came, they gave speeches. He used to translate his speeches into Telugu. Okay, he lost his deposit, but we knew that blue jeep and the star. And then you heard Rajaji later readings, then they were talking about freedom. The government shouldn't be doing all this. Those days.
I think it's
And then Mr. Gurcharandas,
yes.
I met him. He was telling me. Actually, he wanted to be part of Swatantrata Party.
Oh, he did? Okay. We recently
He
asked,
is a brilliant man. I don't know if any of you read Gurcharandas.
yeah, some of us, yes. We even last 6 months back, yeah, he was there in Jakarta, right, for the Asia Liberty Forum. Or last year he was there in Delhi.
Right.
Yeah, right.
You should read him because you're talking of these trade union and all. Read India Unbound
Yes.
about 91. You'll know the whole history of this. The example I'm giving you about Calcutta is also, I think, from his book.
Yes, yes, yes. Indian bomb. It's also one of his recent works. My Dilemma as an Indian Liberal, right? That's the work I forgot. The Dilemma of an Indian Liberal. Yeah, yeah. It's also a pretty good read, actually. Right.
Yeah, and he keeps saying, don't say liberal because it's lost all its.
Yeah.
Like George Orwell, the opposite is the meaning now.
Now.
So
Yeah.
say classical liberal.
Classical liberal, yeah. People, when you what you said is correct. When you say Orwellian, it's about control.
Yeah.
Right. That also, that's a forgotten history forgotten thing from the Indian history, Indian political history, that there was a time when Swatantrata Party, led by Rajaji, was the main opposition in the parliament. I mean, I didn't know about this in school. Like, we learned about a lot of civics, political history, Indian history, all that stuff, but we never learned that we also learned that the first major opposition in Indian parliament where the Communist Party is led by one of my state leaders, A.K. Gopalan, yeah, big communist leader and all. But we never learned after that. There was a time when Swatantrata Party was the main opposition. They had like some 70 seats or something. After 60s, I mean Indira Gandhi's time, so 70s, early 70s, yeah, something like that. But yeah, unfortunately, things did not go as planned after that.
And on that, Lok Satta took its symbol from Swatantrata Party, the star. Lok Satta contested AP elections, and when Chiranjeevi came in that year, I forget. They won only one seat, Dr. Jayaprakash Narayan. And I did the whole campaign for them.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Dr. JP used to come to the office, we did the campaign. And his budget was totally for all 243 seats, 3 crores 5 lakhs. Okay. For all. The total campaign in the media and TV and all.
So that was the
the least. Even one candidate from Kukatpalli whom he fought spent 30 crores.
Oh my God. So
that's it.
And this was the United Andhra, right? Back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So moving on. Talking about the promos that Rohit created for EBS. There are 3 interesting promos about one cricket, one hockey
and
field,
chess.
and then chess. and then the voiceovers would then talk about the main message that was to be said. First one saying, I'm quoting, if you trim your expectations of living off government largesse and train
Largest.
sorry my bad largesse and train yourself properly, racing ahead is a sure thing. Moving forward, saying the other one would be, the fault is not in the hand but in the equipment. What equips you is targeted training, not a fancy degree. And then for chess, it's a bigger one. If you remove your blinkers, you'll see that a regular college doesn't always guarantee secure life. Vocation-based education keeps you firmly on your feet, always. It goes on saying in Einstein's quote as well. Now, what are your takes on the current national education policy that came into effect in 2020, which kind of pushes this vocational education, targeted trainings, also things that are very much related to EBS, which talks about, you know, from simple daily home chores to technical stuff like, you know, fixing a machine. So, what is your opinion on the current NEP? Do you think it's
Is it enough? I don't know.
uh,
I think it should start early in school.
early? Yeah,
First, learn to tackle real life. I mean, I said it so many times there and quoting from others also.
yes,
You are in a gilded cage for 18 years of your life, from school to college to post graduation. You come out, boss, this is not the place you recognize. You never lived there except during the holidays, and that too at your place or your friend's place. Real world is something else. That's why in US, I think there's for graduation, undergrad, there's a thing called praxis,
yeah,
which the word itself means that. A praxis college where you join, you pay some fee, but most of the time you're working as an intern in various industries. In your 3-4 years, you would have graduated a regular degree and you get back your fee because you already worked there. So you have this practical training.
the relevance of
Yeah.
it. But the current national education policy, although it gives a lot, I mean, not that I'm siding with any regime or anything for that matter, but although it gives a lot of importance to vocational training, including this, you know, chores at home, even farming for that matter, there is a allegation that, you know, it is somehow against the poorer sections of the society, that, you know, it is now pushing these poor people to only take up what, you know, their parents were good at, which is, I know,
They're in
yeah, yeah.
Hollywood schools, That's the allegation. This
Same with
was 4 years
EBS
back.
as well. Yeah, so I can see, I find a lot of similarity over there.
No, you know how these evil minds work, no? They always work like that, those guys. You've seen one, you've seen 100 commies.
That's true. Right.
And by that, I don't demean a party or anything. A communist is one who believes that he has the right to rule over others because he's more intelligent, more noble, knows everything. And the other person has no rights, no voting, nothing. That is communism. You can't sugarcoat that. You can't sugarcoat Mao or Stalin, who together, the great brothers, killed about 100 million people. So you can't, there's not a whiff of nobility there.
Yeah,
Only stench of death. So I treat them as such.
they should be treated as such. Yeah. Building on that, actually, so, you know, the story moves on to the place where one of the characters is going to be a surrogate mother for a couple who is unable to have a child on their own, and then welfare officers come stop it. Right? They cite some certain laws, and before this happens, they come and stop it. Uh, so technically speaking, it's kind of a attack on the right of bodily autonomy, um, and um, and then yeah, the to be surrogate mother then questions back, saying that just because there are some bad apples, some cases of people being exploited due to surrogacy in different parts of the world doesn't mean that it should be there should be a like a total ban on surrogacy as such. She quotes a great example as well. I quote, so because there may be some bad people, you want to ban everyone, then some government officers take bribes, so there should be no government employees. That's the kind of way in which she refutes back to these welfare officers. um, Now that's where I want to I think I can relate to what you just said about Stalin or Mao or these great figures of communism. When you talk about right to individual rights, bodily autonomy, all that stuff, yes, there are bad apples. There are places where people are being exploited. In a way, those are kind of bad apples. Any freedom for that matter, any freedom you have, there are people who exploit it in a wrong manner, right? Because it's after all a freedom, right? So that's like a capitalist system where there's freedom of agency for people. Whereas in a communist system, as he's just mentioned right now, it's not bad apples. It's 100 million people, 120 million people who died just in a span of 60 years because of communism. The amount of people who died in Soviet Union, in Cambodia, in China. So I think this is a great character that you brought in, and how she herself
Yeah,
defends
Kumari is one
Kumari. Yeah.
spunky character, and she actually tackles the most delicate part of this. The others, Vahini and all, economic things, it's easy. Here, there'll be many here thinking, no, you shouldn't have surrogacy, you shouldn't be able to sell a kidney or anything like this.
Yeah.
But get down to the nitty gritty, you'll understand, analyze it, you'll know that she's right.
We then move forward to learning more about AAA. That's a very interesting name. One of the main characters' name is AAA, right? Now that name obviously has it's acronym. There is a full name. I'm unable to recollect. I know there's Ahmed in it. There's Ali in it. I can't recollect the other part.
Ehsan Ali Akhtar.
Yes. Okay. Hassan Ali Akhtar. Yeah.
That's supposed to be one of the big reveals in there towards the end of the book.
Oh no! Did I spoil it?
Yeah, that's what you
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
the
It
book.
is. It is. Yeah. It's yeah. The name does not even come out in AAA's chapter. It comes out like towards the end of the book. Yeah. Now he points out to a great fact that universities are right now, or universities that are supposed to be centers of learning, are now becoming uh,
Education squatters,
yes.
pavements for education squatters who do triple MA, whatever, being 35 years old, married, kids, they stay there because they have the room and hostel.
So, what is your opinion on current Indian universities, both government-funded universities, as well as even these days certain private universities, which are, very much they call themselves as the liberal universities of the country, but are totally not a safe space for open-minded thinking, open-minded.
Why here, US? It's so sad, isn't it?
True.
So, we are as bad as that. Anything there more than government in US, it is because they have the funds from alumni donating, and then it's taken over by, for 2 generations, it's been planned by professors indoctrinating students. When Russia was at peak, they said we can't win a war with guns, but we'll take your generation. So communism went into the classrooms. So there are many universities you can't talk about a Republican or anything free enterprise. You have to be woke. I think you don't have the right to speech. He said you can't express the opposite point of view. And they had safe spaces there. These overgrown 25-year-olds, they need candy and milk in a padded room if Trump wins an election to be crying safely. I mean, is it nursery class? Oh, and you others pay $40,000, $50,000 a year for that education. Anyway, so coming to Indian universities, anything government I'm always with a very
There are some universities in India, even private universities in India, which are notorious for their, that similarity to some of the American campuses. I can think about.
Ashoka, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Right. So, building on that, have you ever thought about, you outlined amazing EBS. You haven't mentioned how the EBS looked like. Have you ever thought
There
about,
is a dream that early bird school someday, maybe.
right,
Yes.
right, both a school, I mean, like a
It
elementary
has
school,
to grow organically.
right? So in this,
See, because again, Wang Chu tried something like this in Delhi. I was very fascinated, but then the guy turned out to be something else altogether.
oh, okay,
He was thinking, oh, you can make, I don't know, energy out of icicles and all that. He went totally bonkers. The whole, you held him in high esteem thinking the whole Three Idiots, brilliant guy, based on him.
yeah, yeah,
And then he started this college, university in Delhi, where the students could farm. Okay, they are graduates, undergraduates, not school children like an EBS.
and
Then I thought, great. In fact, I wrote to him saying in Andhra, when the state was separated, maybe we can start something here. Then slowly I kept reading about his Ladakhi misadventures
oh,
and thinking you can do anything. The icicles, I don't know, see that video. It's crazy.
oh, right.
No science even comes close.
I did know about this, but then I mean I didn't know about
Much
him and
before he
his.
came under fire with the government and
All right,
two,
yeah.
3 years ago.
Okay, I never knew about any of that stuff.
It's
Yeah.
some
Did anybody?
magic science.
So you know about this entire thing that
Yeah, in
happened?
Ladakh, he was doing something with the ice, and it's so easy you can do this. Yeah, then it reminded me of bloody Ramar Pillai, who made petrol, herbal petrol,
Oh wow.
some years back.
Is that really a thing? Was a real thing?
That's what newspapers wanted to believe it. Here's this guy, the big oil companies are crushing him. Put some herb. It turned out to be a charlatan.
I see. Right. Okay. So moving forward, that's of universities having an EBS like early bird school, like university or education institutions in our country would be really great. Yes. Hopefully, one day that can
No, the
happen.
real thing about the universities is why do you have only these streams? Medicine, engineering, computer science, whatever. Why? Management. What are you going to manage, boss? You should know now first what to do. And MAs, BS. I don't know, I didn't put it there, but my thing was what we are doing is not productive education. It's reproductive education.
Yeah.
An MA creates a BA. BA becomes MA and creates another BA. The cycle goes like that thing on the flywheel, not that a guinea pig or weasel, whatever goes on that. Finally, there's nothing. It's worse than a Ponzi scheme. It is reproductive education. They produce themselves. No one ever does any real value or product or service in the world. So
Yeah.
all that is gone. That was because of the British. They needed these glorified clerks to run the empire.
Right.
We carried that burden for, I don't know, 70 years.
And we're still carrying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are the collectors. That's why in that also is the district magistrates come. No?
To
Anyway,
close
afterwards.
down EBS or to challenge EBS, right? And also the early bird school is being described as the school. The new EBS school premises had, apart from playground for sports, a vegetable patch, a paddy field, a chicken coop, a dairy shed. Irrespective of the class or subjects chosen, all students had to do basic cleaning of their classrooms, common facilities, and bathrooms. They also spent some time in the fields with the cattle, as everyone should know how the food they took for granted every took for granted that every meal was grown. They would understand the effort that went into what they took for granted, and if they ignited an interest in a few to go into the food business, which would always be needed, all the better. So that's the early bird school concept. Yeah, it also describes about how different people in EBS, I mean, students in EBS goes on to, different ventures for like firecrackers, creating their own firecrackers and so on to kill mosquitoes. Wait, that's a different. Okay. Um, moving forward, sir. The great one of the biggest discussions of today, this time is still the climate alarmism. We did discuss a little bit in the beginning, but um, whenever this topic is brought forward, even I felt I've been shut down just like that. You can't even speak. It's like the thing that shall not be said, recited, narrated. Yeah, because everybody claims that the science is settled, that you can't do any more innovation, you can't do any more of whatever you want to do, because that's going to pollute the environment, that's going to destroy the nearby places, and destroy the earth at the end of the day. So of course you have mentioned how uh, how you would talk to refute those ideas of climate alarmists. But what would be a simple message to the crowd here? The moment people say that you can't talk about it, you can't, you shall not challenge. You are
It
funded
goes
by.
to the point, is that freedom of expression. Why? What's a holy cow there? That means you're scared, that you're insecure. The base on which you premised all this is shaky.
That is true. And then you go
All
on
those are mentioned there. The hockey stick graph and all those.
the hockey stick graph of the economic growth, right? Yes, sir.
What
Yeah,
about Greta Thunberg? I think all of you know her.
yeah.
Know her well? Friends? Thank you. She's very scary. I don't know. You saw that there's a movie called Exorcist. Reminds me of that. No, that girl. She's been trained by her parents and gurus into. She sits there wagging her finger at world leaders, and these idiots, dumbos, sit there taking it in. You're spoiling our future. One who made it a great business of bunking Friday school. She started a thing by not going to school on Friday. अरे इतना पैसा है, then इंडिया में बहुत लोग है यार. What Friday will bunk from Monday to Thursday also.
And then about this climate alarmism, you make very good points about Genghis Khan and Al Gore.
I
How
think that is what I love, Genghis Khan. Al Gore, everyone knows, na?
yeah.
You SUVs and all this you're driving, temperature is rising. But when Genghis Khan invaded from his steppes, he came and invaded half the world, known world. He didn't come on an Humvee, yaar. वो तो घोड़ा था. So it was warmer then than today.
And he, in a sense, he helped ensure the earth remained less warmer, right?
And we are actually, if you must be aware, we are going through a cooling cycle actually. There are too many wheels within wheels for any time to say, "Arey, carbon dioxide 10 particles increase ho gaya or 10 degrees." No, it's not like that at all. There's something called Malkovich cycles that come 26,000 years, 50,000, then 1 lakh years. Because of the wobble in the world, it changes, and we are going to ice age actually.
Oh, yeah.
Not total ice age, but cooling cycle. Otherwise, I'll sound like bloody Al Gore. He made billions. And there's so
totally.
much. You think truth is powerful. Yeah.
To
Maybe help. Morally, you'll feel nice. But there's so much money in untruth. Ask Al Gore.
To those who don't know Al Gore, he was.
What did he say? Inconvenient. What was the name of that? And he did it on an Apple. Yeah, that I hate. The idiot. First time Apple came with the laptop with all these fancy things, he used that to make that darn movie. Inconvenient and inconvenient truth.
I'm not aware of, but I know
No, this was
it's like
20 years ago. He predicted everything.
it's going to
Yeah.
he did.
Polar bears will lose everything but their tail, whatever. I don't know. Then nothing came to pass.
So I'll go to those people who don't know.
And he
was,
made billions on carbon trading.
Oh, so much, yeah.
He created the fear. Arey, petrol nahi milega. Then he sells it for 10 rupees extra. Yeah.
Yeah, fear.
And half of them were these so misguided souls, Yeah, we are saving the globe. Donate more to Al Gore.
That's true. He was this close to winning the US presidential election back in 2000.
I wish he won. He wouldn't have done this mischief. Because he didn't get that, he tried this. The world would have been a better place if he had won.
A lot of times it's good that the person gets elected.
Yeah, he's out of him. He's kept busy in his own this thing.
Right. And according to such principles of human beings being too much in this planet, that this planet cannot afford 8 billion human beings right now. According to that logic, then we all should stop breathing, because we have every breath is producing carbon dioxide and making the planet warmer.